When it comes to all or nothing, I was approached by Charles last semester. He needed some information as far as maybe some background on the slaves that had escaped, some of the background on the area, the period that the escape took place.
I'm John Fierst, and I'm the librarian at the Clark Historical Library. I've been here for about 10 years. I was originally hired because of my background. I have a strong interest in the antebellum period of American history, and the Clark has a very strong collection in the antebellum period, Michigan territorial history.
My name is Frank Bowles. I'm the director of the Clark Historical Library at Central Michigan University. I've been the director here since 1991, and the Clark Library is responsible primarily for documenting the history of Michigan. So we have a very extensive collection of material regarding our state. We're very excited about the prospect of a film being made documenting the passage of enslaved people before the Civil War from the South through Ohio primarily, and then into Michigan and on into Canada.
My name is George Ross. I'm the president of Central Michigan University. We have a great burden on ourselves as parents, and I've lived that as a father of a daughter. She's an adult now, but part of her upbringing was being taught about who she is as a black girl and now woman in America.
My name is Carol E. Mull, and I am a researcher and writer about Underground Railroad history, anti-slavery history in the state of Michigan. I wrote the book, The Underground Railroad in Michigan, which was published by McFarland Publishers in 2010, and other articles and a chapter for another book. I began the research at least 10 years before the book was published. I was working at the University of Michigan on a project where we were supplementing social studies history in the schools. And one of the subjects was the Underground Railroad, which I knew almost nothing about. And we knew very little about it, but it intrigued me. And once I started finding more information about it, I was hooked and I wanted to learn more. And then I felt firmly that this was a story that needed to be told, that had not been told.
My name is Dr. Eric Jackson. I'm an associate professor of history at Northern Kentucky University. I'm also the director of our Black World Studies program here. How have African Americans been impacted by the access to or the lack of access to formal education? And so for African Americans or people of color, defining the term in general, education has also always been the key for change or liberation or even empowerment. And when the country started back in the colonial period, African Americans legally were not allowed to learn how to read and write. But you had outlier folks, people like Frederick Douglass, when he writes in his narratives that freedom came to him, abolition came to him when he learned to teach himself how to read and write. And so for African Americans, the key to their own liberation is to teach themselves how to read and write.